Welcome, everybody. My name is Garrett Hall, and I'm here to talk about success hack number 6, which is one we just invented the other week based on a Twitter conversation. So if you're interested in reading the background, I've posted the link in the notes, but you'll find this on the RezScore blog. And it came inspired by this tweet that came from Scott Belsky, where he wrote, "Ironic that the most critical skill of great CEOs, what I think is the most highly correlated skill with success, is one of the least respected and glamorized. Sales. They don't even teach it in B school, yet it's the bridge to the best hires, customers, and investors." So this tweet that came out on August 13th, I'll read it again. "Ironic that the most critical skill of great CEOs, what I think is most highly correlated skill with success, is one of the least respected and glamorized. Sales. They don't even teach it in B school, yet it's the bridge to the best hires, customers, and inventors." Now, fact check on this, completely true. Sales skills are absolutely critical, and even people who are focusing on a career in technology where they're planning on keeping their nose in front of a computer 24/7 will end up needing to become salespeople if they're going to be successful. Because to get the job in the first place, you have to be good at selling yourself. If you are going to be successful at becoming a programmer, you're not just going to be writing the best code, but you're going to have to sell this internally to your teams or perhaps to external clients. So very strongly agree with Scott that sales is critical. It's completely underlooked. At MIT, when we were practicing sales, there was only a couple of classes MIT offered, and they generally weren't even for credit. There was one technology sales class at the very beginning, early in the morning, that conflicted with my schedule, so unfortunately I couldn't take it. But a lot of the people I know who went through that said it was one of the better classes that they had. But there was so much focus on MIT, of course, it's technology, so there's a lot of talk about building product. But again, Scott Belsky is 100% correct that you want to develop sales skills if you want to become successful. But here is, welcome Queen Ness Saxo. We're talking about success hack number 6, which we're inventing based on this tweet from Scott, where he's lamenting the fact there's not enough strong sales ability in this world, and that sales is kind of undervalued when it's very high correlate with success. And the problem that I actually see with this, when people on Twitter were requesting that we do a SuccessCast on this, is that just knowing that you need to be good at sales is not really a good plan to get there. And this is why we invented this concept of success hacking, because we think that if you want to actually get to become successful at, for example, sales or anything, it's not good enough to know the direction that you want to go in, because right now where we're at is essentially in failed New Year's resolution territory. Everyone knows, this year I want to lose weight, I want to eat better, I want to spend more time on hobbies or spend more time focusing on my work. But just knowing that intent doesn't get you there. So after a month, you abandon it because I would argue you've not built it into a habit. If you could create a habit based on the direction that you want to go to, where a possible beneficial outcome is that you achieve this goal, then you're in good shape. And in fact, we created this quality success hack framework, which describes the different skills that you will want to, basically like how you can take any potential goal and instead build a habit around it. And we identify 3 properties of it, where if it has compounding benefits, if it will produce diffuse benefits, and if it's easy enough to implement that it's likely to stick into your routine, then you're going to get there. So I think that this particular exchange really reveals the difference between kind of a goal that you might want to do and how you actually get to this goal. So we're brainstorming how can you actually become better at sales in a way that fits this success hacking framework. And I'm sure there's a lot of good ways to do it, but the one that we came up with is what we're calling get a free lunch. And the way that it works is very simple. Every day you have to buy lunch. When you are buying your lunch, instead of simply paying for it, try negotiating. Take it as an opportunity to say, hey, could I get any discount? Could I get an extra drink, an extra apple, an extra bag of chips? Anything, any small ask that you can do to get yourself used to asking for a free lunch. It's incredibly easy to do this every day because you have to eat lunch every day. Now, we've just theorized this, so we don't know if it's successful. I personally wouldn't be able to do it because I make my lunch, but you could apply it to other things. If you go to the coffee shop, ask for any extra bonus, an extra cookie or an extra second coffee with it. I remember one time I was very successful just at Starbucks. I asked if I could have my coffee for free, and they gave it to me. So it's possible. But let's break this down in terms of this framework. Does this produce compounding benefits? Well, I would argue that it has the capability of producing compounding benefits, because at the very least, if you try this and implement it and do it every single day, maybe you could become 5% better at selling each day. That's an exaggeration, kind of, it might not come literal like step function, 5% every day, or actually, sorry, rather, it might not be, a gradual 5%. It might be you kind of hit some breakthroughs. But if you become a little better at selling every single day, a little better at negotiating, then you're very likely to produce compounding benefits. And what if you're successful? What if you actually get your lunch to cost you 20% less each day because there's some discount you didn't know of? 20% less each day compounded over an entire year, that could make a significant impact on your pocketbook. So I think that this does have the concept of compounding benefits baked in. And this actually ties in somewhat with a similar hack that another entrepreneur friend in New York of mine used. He called it hyperlocal patronage, which is the idea that you go to a few venues locally, very close to your house, where you've basically negotiated the best deals. He would continually just go out to different restaurants, go out to different shops locally, and ask them for discounts until he found who was best at providing him deals. And then he would utilize and promote these companies aggressively to his network. So whenever he'd have a meeting, he would say, "Oh, I know a place. I know the person who works here. I know the girl behind the bar. I know the waitress. I know the waiter." It was able to get really good discounts and brought them more business. So it kind of worked for everybody. But for him, it produced compounding benefits because he had places where he knew the systems, he understood it. Second checkbox is, does this produce diffuse benefits? And we got into a further Twitter exchange, which we illustrate in the blog post, where someone was concerned that it might be tough to haggle with a food truck. But I don't see it that way at all. And at risk of putting my colleague on blast, I think there's only upside. Because what's the worst that happens? You walk up and you say to the food truck operator, "Hey, can I have this lunch for free?" Well, they say no. And then you still have the exact same outcome as before. So there's literally no downside. Maybe you're slightly embarrassed because you asked a stupid question and maybe they laugh at you. But if you're going to get good at sales, you have to build a callus for rejection. So this can only have upside in my mind, because what's the worst that happens is they say yes, and you just got a free lunch. That's the most coveted thing in the world, is a free lunch, and you just got it just by asking the question. Or, it might not be so simple. Maybe you get a free drink, a free dessert. Maybe you get a second to roll with your lunch, what have you. Or maybe you start just understanding better, how their food truck operates. Maybe they say, "Well, we can't give you this for free, but we encourage you to try this, this, or that." So you struck up a conversation. Or maybe this food truck doesn't give it to you, but you decide to start going to a different food truck that does give you the free lunch, the discount. So there's only upside, because you gain knowledge, you gain sales experience, and maybe you get the free lunch. And then the last thing we'd like to do is try to make this easy to implement as a habit. And despite the pushback that this isn't easy to ask, that's basically a personally self-imposed mental block that you're going to have to get over anyway if you want to learn how to sell. So I would argue that it's as easy as it gets, because it just takes adding 5 extra words to your daily routine, which is, "Could you give me a discount?" That's it. Speaking 5 extra words is not difficult, and you're getting lunch every day, so it's easy to slot this in and generate that sustained practice and get yourself to what everyone wants more than anything in the world, and that is the free lunch. So we've basically taught you how the process of pursuing the free lunch can also improve your sales ability and get you to where Scott Belsky is pointing out, get you to really good sales skills that are going to help you immeasurably throughout your life. So this is how we've basically taken this goal of becoming better at sales and actually created a roadmap that might work for you. As always, we're coming to the end of the RezScore SuccessCast here. We're trying to keep these very short, very concise tips and tricks. And over the course of time, we're going to just develop a giant playbook of success hacks that you can add to your day-to-day life to achieve success, whether you're currently looking for a job, currently at your job. By the time we get maybe a few hundred of these, you'll literally just have a giant checklist that you can follow to become more successful in life. And that's the goal of our SuccessCast, which is we want everyone who is listening to the SuccessCast to be more successful than anyone who is not. So if you made it to the end here, congratulations, you are in very good company. And as you can see, we're even applying this a little bit ourselves, because getting to become more successful than everyone else, that's a great destination, but there's not a good roadmap to get there. But if we kind of continually discuss and evaluate different success hacks that we can implement, that's kind of a roadmap that gets you there. We also, we want to interview guests who have interesting sales hacks, success hacks, etc. So we've created a link where you can apply if you'd like to be a guest on this. We will put the link in the show notes, but it's basically RezScore.com/go-to/success-apply. Again, that's RezScore.com/go-to/success-apply, all one word. And while you're at RezScore.com, make sure to check out our Red Balloon program. That's another great way to be successful, because you can make $10,000 for referring a friend to a great job. And what is better for success than making $10,000 just for having a great network already? It's called a Red Balloon program. It's modeled off of the MIT Red Balloon experiment. A lot more reading on the site about that. Definitely check it out. We thank everyone for your time, and we wish you a happy Monday.